What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Mason, and welcome back to my pleasant little side of the internet. Now, if you are coming here because you see the Snapchat that I put out, first of all, thank you. I always appreciate my fans of the world classic exam cam representing, and I love to see you here where I can ramble without the limitations of having a minute long video. Thank you, Snapchat, by the way. But holy shit, it is the end of the college semester, and for me personally and many of my friends, it's the end of our college career. Absolute insanity. It was a long time coming. Okay, I'm pretty sure we've all put up with more than we need to put up, especially in this day and age. I mean, college, really? Thanks for the lack of a refund, Chancellor. I will not be saying at all where I go to college for the sake of anonymity and because of what I'm going to be talking about in this video, which is about college. And frankly, I think one of the best parts about college is the memories and experiences and the crazy stories that you can talk to people on a podcast about. That is really, let's be honest, what makes it in college is that you come out with so many cool stories. So I've actually gone through, I've selected my favorite story from each year of my college career. I've only gone four. Mad respect to the people going five or six and so on. I have so much respect for you and those going to grad school because you truly are champions. And I mean, putting up with it. Come on. Are you serious? You crazy people. 4 years and you're like, nah, I'm not done yet. Let's do this and just jump back in. I I mean, come on. Personally, I need a break. I don't get it. I need to step out for a little bit so that I can get some fresh air, collect myself, and then go to grad school when I actually have the money and the economy's not in the toilet. But that's for another video. Regardless, I want to talk about college in this video and all the great things, and each story I have will be themed as a story, and I'm going to be putting time points or time markers stuffs in the description below so that you guys can skip to them if you'd like. I don't have catchy names for them. I'm not like that. I'm not good like that. Shout out to the bigger podcast people. But yeah, we're just gonna go through and I'm gonna tell my stories. And please sit down, grab a snack. It's gonna be a bit of a long video or podcast session thing, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, so freshman year. I'm a shut-in kind of kid, and I don't really go out very much, or I didn't. I'd like to think I've improved just a little bit in my college career and opened up more. But I think everybody feels that way when they first go into college. They're scared and they're a bit of a shut-in, and it's a whole situation. I had some personal stuff going on as well that kept me indoors a lot, and I didn't get to go interact with people. I was lucky enough to get into a club, an a cappella group to be specific, and I managed to make it in. I'm an okay singer, but I made it in, and it was my first real experience going out and having a good time and partying for that matter. And yeah, that's what this story's about. So I was in my end of the first semester, freshman year, and I was invited to a birthday party by the president of our a cappella club. And it wasn't the girls' a cappella club president's party. It was her best friend, who I had met her previously, nothing super major, but we knew each other enough that it was okay for me to come along to a party like this. So I show up, not the kind of party you bring presents to, clearly. Welcome to college, right? So I show up and I'm doing my thing and I'm hanging out. When I was a freshman, I had a bit of an issue with people making my drinks for me, so that I would actually make my own drinks and bring them with me and either keep them in a bottle or do whatever I needed to do really to keep a hold of my drinks, because I was super paranoid at the time, and I'm sure everybody is at some point. But I was going to doing my thing, and I actually ran out because I was using a leftover bottle from what I drank previously, and so I ran out and I was chilling. I was doing my thing, hanging out and stuff. I was still a little shy, and one of the people that I had met there offered me party juice. Now, if you don't know what party juice is, it's basically you can take whatever you want and throw it into a big old cooler or a giant bowl and you drink it. It's party juice, jungle juice, tiger's blood, any one of those things. And you go, you drink it, and you get fucked up. That's the ticket, you know? You get a cup or two in, and you're like, well, I guess I'm not sober anymore. So needless to say, being one of the first parties that I went to, I didn't really know much about party juice, and I'm sure everyone's had this experience. But you go, you have a cup, and the problem with PJ is it doesn't hit for like the first 10 minutes, and during that time you're like, oh yeah, you know, maybe I'll have a little bit more. Maybe I'll have a cup or two more, or three, or four. By the fourth cup, I completely forgot who I was, and I blacked out. And I woke up in the bathroom. I don't think I had thrown up, and I woke up in the bathroom, and I sat up, and someone had placed a banana and a cup of water beside me, and I woke up, and I was like rousing myself slowly, and people came in to check on me because you know they're not total scumbags. They come in to check on me, and I'm like awake and conscious and moving. It had been an hour and a half or so, and they kind of get me up and they get me moving, and then I throw up, and I'm like, holy shit, this is my first time throwing up. I've been drinking, this is too much, and then it just all came out. And to spare you the details, it was not fun. Regardless, the night was not over yet. These people who I thought were my friends picked me up, grabbed a garbage bag, and attempted to take me home. Now let me give you a tip for all you people who are new to drinking. I've got a couple years under my belt. But for all you people who are new to drinking, do not ever throw up into a scented garbage can. And here's why. So you throw up, and then for some reason, whatever scent it is suddenly becomes the most disgusting thing on the planet. Completely ruined that brand of garbage bag for me, and I can never even look at it the same way again. But the problem is, once you start, you can't really stop if the same bag you're using is making you sick. So I'm feeling awful at this point. They get me home, they drag me inside, and you know, when you live in a college dorm, sometimes you'll see those people who have like the beds that's raised up like 5 feet in the air, and I was one of those kids because I had my desk underneath and all my stuff, and I get home. And my bed is on the max setting, and I get in here, and they like lead me in, and I'm like, okay guys, I got this. And I have been told that I cleared the 5 feet of space into my bed without any handholds, and my shoes were still on, and I immediately fell asleep. Waking up the next morning, first of all, felt terrible. First time blacking out, you always feel terrible. I woke up, my shoes were still on, I was completely dressed, and these jackasses had left the damn bag of throw up beside my bed. Are you serious? You're my friends, and you're just going to screw me over like that? I knew you jackwagons went back outside. You can't help a brother out. Come on. I mean, we're all friends, right? Regardless, you know, freshman year, that is the best story. That's not true. The best one I can talk about story in my arsenal for freshman year. Freshman year is weird, okay? You know, you're figuring out your gen eds, you're figuring out clubs, figuring out friends, you're meeting people on like the floor and stuff, and you're doing your thing. If you live in a dorm, I would say, you know, not all colleges require that, but it's a whole new experience. And by the time you hit sophomore year, you've got a little knowledge under your belt. Now, freshman year, I was lucky enough to not have a job because I had worked my ass off as a barista and a bakery guy. So I had enough money going freshman year that I didn't really need a job. Unfortunately, sophomore year, that was not the case. And so for the sake of anonymity, again, I won't be using any names or anything like that for this. But my sophomore year, I decided, you know what? I'm going to be a resident assistant. And I don't know if anybody knows what a resident assistant is. If you don't know, they're basically the people who tell the freshmen to shut the hell up in the dorms during quiet hours, which is like bedtime for big kids. Basically, I was a professional narc, and it was crazy. And so I am an RA, and I'm doing my thing. I go through training and everything's great. And the cool part about being an RA is you get paid a set amount based on a predetermined rate. So, like, of course, you worked, you manned the front desk of the dorm or whatever, and you did this. Like, you had night shifts once or twice a week, and you worked some full weekends, and some holidays you had to work, but it really wasn't so bad that, like, it was the worst job on the planet or anything like that. But as an RA, you deal with disturbances in the dormitories. And I think that one of the ones that messed me up the most was a situation with my own residents. So I knew them. And I was doing my thing. I'm an insomniac. I stay up super late. I play video games. I do my thing. I stay up late. But I'm an insomniac, so I was up super late, and I get a knock on my door. It's about 12:30 at night. Okay, I open the door, and it's one of my residents. She tells me her roommate is not responsive. I'm like, okay, I'm sure it's fine. They probably drank a little bit. They were probably sleeping pretty hard. I was a pretty lax RA. I was not a stickler for the rules. My main problem was if you disturbed me, you presumably were disturbing everybody else, and that's usually when I had to take care of business. But I was like, okay, I'll go check it out. So I go and check it out, and this girl completely unresponsive, and like not not at all responsive. And I'm like, oh shit, here we go. So I get her off of her bed and I set her down and we call paramedic services. And because I feel that brevity is necessary in the story, at the end of she was okay. At the end of the day, she was okay. Yeah, as it turns out, a family member of hers had supplied her with pills that were unprescribed, and she was just popping them like candy. So it was it was one of those situations where, like, am I really in? Am I really, like? Do I have the authority to take care of something like this against the parent's wishes? Because the parent was pissed. Parent didn't even want me to call the paramedics or anything like that. Wanted me to just leave it alone, and was pissed even more at the roommate for not leaving it be and just letting it go. So, like, who am I to say? And it was such a strange and awkward situation. At the end of the day, I mean, the girl is okay, and like, she's alive and well and doing her thing. She unfortunately did have to drop out of college, which was a little intense. And I do worry about her and think about her, but I still speak to the roommate. Roommate's doing great. She was one of my favorite residents. But regardless, yeah. So being an RA, you either grow the thickest skin possible, or you get chewed up and eaten alive because of very specific things that happen that could definitely be considered traumatizing in every way. And that was 100% one of them. Other than that, I mean, being an RA was nice. I think it was like one of the main reasons that I made it through sophomore and junior year. Actually, I did RA. I was an RA both years, and it was super fulfilling, actually, and nice to get paid to just be friends with a bunch of freshmen and kind of a mentor in a way. Not that I'm a good mentor. Let me put that out there right now. I won't say I was like a bad influence or anything like that, but definitely not like role model material or anything like that. I will say I consider myself to be a little more understanding than most, but regardless. Anyways, uh, I'm thinking so much about my residents, especially now at the end of all this college career and stuff. I mean, I still speak to a good number of them, and we're friends, and they reach out to me, and I reach out to them, and it's a good time knowing these people. And if you're going into college, I would actually suggest it. I would suggest being an RA. You might get screwed with a crappy boss once or twice, or like anything, not that I did, but like anything like that. You definitely take that with the highs and lows, but I think that's any job. And at this point, I feel like I've had the time to grow to appreciate myself as an RA, in that, like, I don't think of it so much as a job as it is like an opportunity. And that sounds super cheesy and not like me at all to anybody who's listening, but I think it's good. I think it was a good experience, and it definitely shaped me to be who I am these days. But regardless, I did RA into my junior year, and this is how you segue, by the way. The fun part about my junior year was actually it was actually being a part of the a cappella club again. And it's not for the reason that you would think. It's actually because and this is not a good excuse for a story, but so many times we had parties and things got stupid, like really stupid, like somebody falling over each other, and like you ever been to those parties where like you meet someone and they're trying to get everybody to play spin the bottle? That was the acapella club parties, and and it's super funny. Actually, wait a minute. Let me resend this because I just had a memory, a resurgence, a prophetic vision of my own past, and I know exactly what my favorite story is, and it's actually at an a cappella party, which is what made me remember. So in a cappella, you have big concerts where all of the a cappella groups come together and they have like big sing off, and they do their thing, they perform, they dance, they sing, they choreograph stuff, and a panel of judges hands out an award. So for my a cappella group, we never won anything. Not that we weren't good enough, but just like the other groups, like one group used like flashlights and it was super, and another group did a play or something while they sang. It was a whole thing that I don't think any of us was prepared for. Regardless, so after the ceremony after the performance situation, and a winner was picked, usually that winner would then throw a party at the house for the club, in the same way that a fraternity or sorority would have their own house. The a cappella groups would sometimes have their house, and it was more like, oh, our president lives here, so it's our house, yada yada. And usually, even if they didn't win, one specific fraternity or sorority would throw a party, and all the a cappella people were invited, yada yada. So, long story short, after the performances, we would go to this party, we would get trashed, drink, have a good time, and just converse and stuff. So, I go to this party. I actually take a friend of mine, and we go, and another friend of mine and his friend show up. And they come into this place because they knew other people that were in a cappella, and we're hanging out and we're having a good time. And all of a sudden, the friend of my friend, who came independently of me, loses his mind. He loses his mind because he quote unquote lost his phone. So here ensues, for the next hour and a half, a manhunt for this guy's phone because he was belligerent, like trying to hurt people, trying to get in fights, had to be choked out by my friend who is in jujitsu. You don't fuck with that guy. But and I love him to death. Shouts out. But he was getting choked out and fighting and doing his thing, and like it got so bad that the entire house got cleared out. Like we had to clear everybody out because this guy was trying to fight everybody, like coming at girls, coming at random people who weren't even in a cappella, coming at people he didn't know, coming at people he did know. And I mean, at that point, you have to think, dude, calm down and leave. Like, we don't want you here, my guy. But he didn't get the picture. Regardless, we hunt for his phone. 2 hours go by of him freaking out the whole time. It is ridiculous. And then we manage to get him out of there. We literally shove him. Okay, so we don't really use Uber where I went to college. We use a ride share group basically, and so we basically shove him into this ride share and get him the hell out of there. Because I mean, he was freaking out. Like, there's no other way to say it other than he was just losing his mind. So we go and we get him out of there. Turns out, and this is the real kicker, turns out his phone was in his back pocket the entire time. And because he freaked out so hard that none of his friends spoke to him ever again. I don't even know where he is right now. I knew who he was and whatnot, because he's a friend of my friend, that association thing. But legitimately, he got kicked out of his friend groups, nobody spoke to him, and he basically got exiled, which is pretty crazy when you think about it all being about one dude's phone. And it's all at an a cappella party, no less. Like, come on, man. Pick a better place to freak out, like a Macy's or something, so at least you can get security called on you. Like, don't freak out here where we're just a bunch of kids who won't take your bullshit. Like, I don't think anybody really wanted to deal with it. It was more like we were forced to. But regardless, yeah. So your lesson for that, kids, is check your back pockets or your hand if you are on the phone, because 9 times out of 10, your phone is on your person, even if you're drunk. Don't hurt your friends, okay? Your friends are your friends for a reason, and you watch out for them. College is for friendship, but do your thing. Anyways, so that was the craziest thing that happened to me junior year. And then, junior year is also more often than not the hardest, quote unquote, hardest year in your college career. You get the most assignments, you're in the hardest classes, and you also have the biggest workload just because you've basically been suckered into taking care of all this stuff at once because your schedule for the previous years got screwed over. Or if you're like me, you get suckered into taking a 12-hour semester, and then your junior year you have to take an 18-hour and a 16-hour semester to make up for it, and that's what gets you. That's what screws you over. So do yourself a favor. 12 credit hours are for suckers, unless you're getting like a business degree or something that can handle that. No offense to the business people. That was just the first degree that I thought of, so please don't freak out on me. Anyways, moving into senior year. So senior year, I stopped being an RA and I went on the search for a job. I originally was employed as a pizza delivery guy, and that was fine. They treated me fairly well. But I ended up leaving that job because of personal complications, and I ended up being a delivery driver for an online service. And the service was, it was okay. But, it sucks because the service, you get more business based on how popular you are, or, as a driver. So let's say you complete, I don't know, 4 deliveries in an hour. Okay, you've just proven that you're 4 deliveries fast in an hour. So they're going to try to give you more deliveries. How fast can you go? What's your speed of service? What's your quality of service? All that stuff. Because the people who order, they can also give you 5 stars, kind of like a Yelp rating. They can rate you and say how good you are, and that will get you more deliveries. So it kind of leaves the people trying to get into the service in the dust. So me getting into the service, I got maybe a delivery a day, despite being quote unquote logged into the service for the entire day. I was given a delivery a day. So I would get pretty upset about this regardless. But I went on a delivery, and it was an overcast day. It was fine. I had gotten 2 deliveries that day. It's around 7 o'clock at night, and I'm doing my thing, and I go to pick up food from a Chinese restaurant, okay? So I go in, and I say, hey, I'm here for blah, blah, blah's order. And they're like, oh, okay, cool, take a seat. I'm like, okay. So I sit down, and then 10 minutes passed, and then 20, and then 30, and then 45, and give or take every 10 minutes or so, I'd be like, hey, where's this order at? What the hell? What are you trying to do to me right now? I have deliveries that I need to take. And they're like, oh, it's coming out, blah, blah. Now, granted, there was maybe 5 tables that had people sitting in them at the time. You were not busy. Where the hell is the food? So I'm sitting there. 45 minutes turns into an hour. I'm losing my mind at this point. And other people have come in and are sitting around me. So I'm like, okay, so it's not just me. I'm not just getting screwed over. Everybody else is just standing here. And I'm a pretty personable guy, so I was making conversation with them. Some of them had placed their delivery orders 50 minutes ago and not gotten confirmation. I was like, holy shit, this is the worst restaurant for this. Please don't make me sit here. I'm trying to make money. So an hour 10, hour 15, hour 30, and then at an hour 45, I finally get the food. Now, here's the thing about the service. You cannot leave once you arrive without getting the food, or they take the money from you. They're like, oh, so you just stole off this guy's food? Fuck you then. And I'm like, well, I'm not trying to lose however much money this guy spent. I think it was like $30 or something stupid. So I was like, I'm not trying to lose that kind of money. For Christ's sakes, I'm a delivery driver. I cannot afford gas. Like, what do you want from me? So I sit there the entire time. I finally get up to leave. I open the app that the service runs through, and the app is down. Turns out the app had been offline for an hour throughout the entire country. And it was just dead in the water. No one could use it. No one could check in on deliveries. No one could check in on, like, where the hell they were going for directions in the case of us drivers. Nobody could do anything. And apparently, I had still been on this delivery so long that it went down and I didn't even notice. So I was just sitting there. So luckily, I had texted the person previously and been like, hey, I'm sorry that this is taking so long. Like, I'm so sorry, legitimately. I don't know what's going on. This Chinese place fucking sucks. Don't ever order here for again. Please, for the love of God, save me the trouble. And they're, oh yeah, that's fine. So I was able to call them and get the address and leave. And like, I managed to get the food to them. And here is the kicker. Here's the ultimate part. They couldn't even fucking tip me. They couldn't tip me because the app crashed and they couldn't finish. No tip. So I didn't get a tip. I waited there for an hour 45 and I looked like a jackass. So I have never, that's not true, but there are a few times in my life that I've been so angry I wanted to punch the little boy working at the register. Like, I felt so upset. It was baffling. And it's ironic because I actually met the manager for my current job during the hour 45 that I was sitting there. I was sitting there so long, I struck up a conversation with the guy beside me. I was like, hey, man, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. And we were talking. He was like, man, I need more delivery drivers. You should come work for me. I'm like, sir, I could kiss you on the mouth right now. And he was super nice. And so I guess it kind of worked out because I have a pretty solid job right now because of that. But also, fuck that service. If you know who I am, you know what that service is. But no free press in this podcast. No free press at all unless you pay me. And even then, I'll badmouth you unless, you're actually a pretty good service. Then we can work something out. Please sponsor me. But like, seriously? No one was going to say anything. I think the icing on the cake, other than not getting a tip, is that the app didn't even notify drivers. Like, I went to Twitter, I was looking around Twitter, and there was not a lick of information about it. So you're just going to let us all look like a bunch of idiots, not getting paid, trying to do deliveries? Some people rely on this stuff, man. Are you serious? But like, yeah. So that was a story from each year of my college career. It is so crazy to think that after all this time, I don't have any more homework. Like, even now, I catch myself sometimes, and I'm like, man, what about that assignment that's due tomorrow? But here's the thing. There are no assignments due tomorrow. There's nothing left, man. We're done. And this is crazy. This goes out to all of my college graduates. You fucking did it. Like, that's delicious. I love that. You're done. No more. Say thank you to your professors who were actually nice and helped you get here. Say thank you to your coworkers and teammates and oh God, what's the word? Fellow classmates for helping you out, for letting you cheat off their homework that one time, for letting you see their notes when the professor took the PowerPoint down, for working together on that test when it was a group test, university policy, blah, 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 blah. But thank you. Say thank you to everyone because you did it, and damn it, if no one else is, then I'm proud of you. Some random guy on the internet, I'm proud of you for doing what you did, even if you didn't make it, even if you're going on to that next semester, even if you have to take summer classes, even if, like, the next step is grad school. I'm proud of you, because damn it, you did it. You made it through this year, despite all the adversity, despite the pandemics, despite Wendy's going through a burger shortage, which is preposterous. Despite all of that, you made it. And damn it, I'm proud of you. And I'm proud of me, because next steps is the rest of my life. And I hope to keep bringing content to you guys. I do want to apologize. I totally missed the Wednesday upload 2 weeks ago because things got so hectic. I actually moved. Um, so I kind of temporarily, kind of not, but I moved. So I'd like to apologize to anybody who was expecting, if there was anyone expecting. And thank you for tuning in to my longest video yet. I'm trying to work up slowly how much time that I spend on each video so that it can really grow and hopefully get my channel to grow and I can meet more amazing people. So yeah, so here's to finishing college. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. And to anyone who's still watching from my Snapchat exam cams, this is it. No more exam cams. No more of that reflective stuff. The rest is just going to be life. So prepare for that. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. My name's Mason, and I will see you guys next time. See ya.